Yo, what up, guys? Okay, so one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time, as of lately, is how do I upkeep my mana? And I'll be completely honest here. There's no real one fix to anything to solve your mana problems. Unfortunately, this class just has really big mana problems, and you're gonna have to deal with it. But I'll give you the ways that I've learned to kind of combat it a little bit. Now, keep in mind that a lot of this is going to depend on your gameplay as well, because one of the most important ways to keep your mana up and keep regenning and whatnot is to use your block blade, right? Use your Q block. You can see that whenever you stand still in Q block, if you're in PvP, this doesn't make sense, right? Because you don't want to be standing still and blocking, but you'll get a chunk of mana back. And then whenever you roll, you actually get a ton of regen. As you can see down there, you get mana regen by up to 2130 at max level, okay, every time that you perfect roll any kind of attack, right? So in PvP, you're gonna be perfect rolling a lot of stuff, so that is a really good way to keep your mana up. Now in PvE, you're gonna be standing still doing a lot of blocks, so you're gonna get a chunk of mana. You can see it regenerates 852 instantly every time that you block with this. So Q blocking is very important, right? That's the first step to keeping your mana up as high as you can. Another big thing that contributes to me keeping my mana up is the passive, okay? The passive assassin step. I will use this in my PvP build. I also tend to use it sometimes in my PvE build, but not necessarily. I'll use it sometimes in like my AoE one, but when I'm bossing, I don't use that passive, because the only way this passive works is after you get a kill, right? You can see that defeating a target increases the mana regen by 94 and the movement speed and whatnot. And then if you pay close attention, it says the first skill used within the duration will not consume any mana, okay? So if you're in a very large scale fight, like a siege, or if you're just in like a GVG or whatnot, anytime that your party gets a kill, or like any of your guild gets a kill in general, you will have this passive proc, and then the first skill that you use right after it is going to be free. So if you think about it, like if I use, Phoenix Barrage after somebody gets a kill, that means that this, instead of costing 270 mana, is going to be completely free. Okay, so you can only imagine like in a siege scenario when you're constantly getting kills over and over and over, almost every kill or almost every ability you use after that is going to be free, right? Like if you're killing mass amount of people, it's going to be free. So this is a very big tool to help you keep that mana. It also gives you mana regen as well. Not a huge amount, but hey, any amount works. Another big secret to keeping your mana up is in T2, we kind of got this a little bit more, but it's mana cost efficiency. You can see that there's some of the gear. I don't know off the top of my head which gear has it. I know this helmet does, the Crown Skull of Victory. You can see it has a mana cost efficiency by 8%. And then you can also trade it to give you another 12%. Okay, so that's a lot added up. That's 20% just off this helmet. And then I'm pretty sure in the masteries as well, you can get mana cost efficiency, as you see up here. I think it goes up to like 2.1%. So you can definitely add in mana cost efficiency somewhere in your tree. I think this is the spear one. On the dagger side, I don't think there's mana cost efficiency, but there is mana regen, which is extremely important as well. So you can also grab those nodes if you're having trouble. Another good way to add mana cost efficiency is you can add in the mana cost with the yellow runes. Now this is going to be in replace of your skill damage resistance and whatnot, so you have to make the choice if you want to include it or not. I personally don't have too many problems with mana issues, but I mean, I like the skill damage more than I would like the mana cost. But if you really just hate not having mana, this can help a lot. Now I'm going to give you a prime example of why mana cost efficiency helps. As you can see, I have 22.4 here, okay, and that's with my helmet and my mastery, so 22.4. okay, now if you let's go ahead and let's take off my helmet just to give you an example, and then my mana cost efficiency is now 2.4. okay, so it's not as much. You can see that my Phoenix Barrage costs 313 mana. okay, the minute that I put on my helmet, right, and give myself an extra 20% mana cost efficiency, instead of 313, it is now 262. okay, so that's a pretty big difference. Same thing goes for like the spear. I'm at 131 when I have it on, and when I take it off, I am now at 157. okay, so that's another big chunk And that's each spear. You have to remember that each spear thrown is 157 mana, right? So if you get 5 stacks, you're throwing 5 of those at a time. So you can see how it eats up a lot of mana. You can see like here, for example, if I use, let's look at Slaughtering Slash. Okay, the 148 mana with my mana cost efficiency, and then when I take it off, instead of 148, it's 176. Another huge one is your explosive, 127 without, and then with it on, 107. So you can see the more mana cost efficiency that you're building, your mana consumption is going to be a lot lower. So that's another really big tip to kind of, you know, preserving your mana. Very important that like you can see, like if you were to sacrifice some other stats and build up even more mana cost efficiency than I have, you can see how it could be a big help towards your mana. But like I said, mana regen also is extremely important. This is not how much I have. This is only because I'm in a city. So if you're looking at your mana regen, don't be in a city, because naturally you get a ton when you're in a city. You'll see I'm at 988, but when I teleport and go to an open air area, it goes down to 653. So always look outside to get like your real example. But you can see that that's what my real one is. Another good way to build if you're having mana issues is Wisdom can always serve you better by giving you more mana regen and just more max mana, which is overall going to be better as well. If you have enough points in your mastery, that means that you have the opportunity to unlock the Dragon's Ascent. Keep in mind that this will chew through your mana, okay, all the way up to, you know, to your 60%. You'll never go above 60% with this on, basically. It eats your mana, so be careful when you use this. It does add a lot of damage, but it eats a lot of your mana, okay? So be careful when you use that. I think that's about it. That is all my ways that I kind of keep my mana up. Now keep in mind, there are times when I will run out of mana, but it's not as likely that, like, the fight would have to last a very long time for me to run out of mana. And not a very long time, like, it just depends. It's like if I'm fighting an extremely tanky team or something in PvP and I just can't kill them, you know, after doing multiple rotations over and over, I will run out of mana. I will have to run out of the fight. You'll see it sometimes, and then go drink milk or something behind a wall, hopefully. I know it sucks, but that's just the way the class is. I don't think there's any other way to really preserve your mana. Like I said, I would probably say the most important thing that people just underutilize is the Q block. Okay, hitting Q block is super big, okay? You just get so much mana back, and you also get regen back if you do the rolling when you perfect block. So it's very important that you hit those. I know I also didn't talk about food as well. Always pop your mana regen potion. These are you should have tons of these, and these are extremely important. They raise your mana regen as well as mana food. Okay, the quality mushroom stir fry, I know these kind of suck to make, but you know, every bit helps. You can see it gives you 20 mana regen there. I always pop that when I'm in PvP. Like I said, every little bit helps. One last thing that I will cover, if you see me in PvE and I normally have, you know, high amounts of mana, you know, like in like the solo dungeons or whatnot, I have 2 PvE builds, okay? One is a PvE spear, which is my AoE one, and the other one is a PvE boss. You can see on the AoE one, I have my spears, my javelins, I have the like barrage and whatnot. This one will eat mana, right? So I don't like to use this on bosses. I like to use this like on trash and whatnot. So this will eat mana very quickly. However, in your bossing build, if you switch over to using like Brutal Fury, right? You're using like the burst stack, the kind of thing of spear, Calling Arc, you know, all of this stuff, you will notice that you preserve mana a lot. This is like when I'm bossing, I don't really run out of mana because I'm using this build, right? If you want to look at these builds, I do have them on my quest log, so just check the description down below and you'll find it there. But I think that is pretty much it. I think I covered literally everything that I can think about that helps me with mana. Ultimately, guys, like, you're just going to have issues with mana, okay? In long-term fights. In PvE, if it's a super long fight, you're going to eventually run out of mana. In PvP, if you're running against a tanky team, you're going to have mana issues. You're going to run out. That's just the class. I found no way to really fix this. So just to reiterate also as well, if you're in a PvP and you're fighting a tanky team and just no one is dying, that means that you're not getting your Assassin's Step passive, right? Which is a big thing for like mana regen. and also just using skills that cost no mana at all. So if you're not getting any kills, no one's dying, you're never getting this. That's huge. If you're not hitting your Q blocks, that's a huge as well. You're not getting any mana from there. Overall, there's just a lot of things to add into it, but I think I covered literally everything that I do in this video to help you with mana. Hopefully this video helps you guys out, and if I missed anything or if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments down below. I try to answer as many of them as I can. You can also join the Discord, which I will leave in the description as well, if you want to ask any other questions or whatnot. But hopefully this video helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.